Have you been to Brazil since you left?
I have a couple times, yeah. I've been back after the military service. I stopped by Brazil for a bit, and then I traveled there once.
May I ask why you chose to go to the military, even if you were born and raised in Brazil?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. So I had a year left before graduating college, and I had to go to the real world outside, and I felt like I wasn't very ready for it. I think, objectively speaking, I grew up very sheltered. I was a bit spoiled, and I wanted, to grow up. And I had that option of going to the Korean military, so I was like, oh, that could be a good break.
Yeah, yeah. If you can talk about it, how was your experience in the military?
It was good. I really enjoyed it. I'm careful about how to describe it, but this is a hot take, but I think if military service wasn't mandatory, I think a lot of people would actually enjoy it.
You think?
Yeah.
So?
I think a lot of Koreans would actually enjoy it. Whatever experience or whatever thing you have to I think whatever experience you have in life, when it's mandatory and you feel like you're forced to do it, you can't enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
And so I always give this example of if I'm playing computer games, right? And then I tell myself, I'm going to stop in 30 minutes. This is my last game. But then my mom comes in and says, Nelson, you got to stop playing 30 minutes. All of a sudden, you don't want to stop.
Yeah.
I think that's similar to Korean military service. I think it's a great experience. It's a 2-year gap year to really suffer, but also it's a unique experience you don't get anywhere else. You can't even pay to do that kind of experience. You get in a group of brothers who are stuck with you for 24/7. You gotta learn not only social skills, but you have to reflect a lot. You have a lot of time in your hands to reflect about life.
Yeah.
Do a lot of self-development and learn to adjust to other people.
That's true.
And I learned some really invaluable lessons in the military. So all in all, it was good, but a lot of a lot of suffering as well, for sure.
Would you ever do it again?
Man, the typical answer for that is the typical question for that for Korean men is if he gave you $10 million, would you do it? And the typical answer is, even if I had to break a leg, even if I had to give up a leg, I wouldn't do it, kind of thing.
Wow, yeah.
But I think I would do it. I think I would do it.
Really?
Yeah. I think it made me into who I am, and I found that time very, very, very edifying.
Wow,
Yeah.
you
Time
grew.
Yeah. Time almost slows down when you go in the military. I don't know if you're into anime. Do you know Dragon Ball?
Of course I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm a 90s kid.
Let's go.
90s child. Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember, but in Dragon Ball, there's this a space. I think it's called Chamber of Space and Time, whatever. Goku goes in there to train, but time goes in there. Time goes by in there slower than outside.
Yeah.
So they spend 20 years, training, but then when they come out, only 2 days have passed.
Yeah.
That was kind of my experience in the military. You go there, it's a totally different world, different rules you play by, different lifestyle, and you live a whole life cycle there, right? You started out as a Ibyong, as a Pyeongchang. You go through a whole cycle where you're bottom low, and then you go through this I'm almost like a king.
Yeah.
And a lot of things, a lot of things you experience in that cycle. But when you come out, all your friends are still
they're still there for you.
Yeah, they're still the same, and it almost feels like nothing has changed when you're a different person. So it was a very, very fun experience for me. It was almost like I got to live 2 lives.
That's so interesting, because most Korean men that I've asked about the military are just no.
Yeah.
It's
And I could understand that too.
Yeah. I guess it's
weird
just
things
very.
happen there.
I've heard some stories, and I'm like, thank God, I am not a Korean man, and I don't have to serve. But it's very interesting that you still chose to serve. But I understand why you chose to serve, because it does seem like you grew a lot from that experience.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think by serving, I got the Korean citizenship as well, right? I got to keep my Korean citizenship.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And so I think the law keeps changing. So whenever people ask me about like dual citizenship, I don't know like what the current law is. But I think at the time I could have chosen not to serve.
Right.
Yeah, so.
But you still chose to. Look at that, Korea. You gained a soldier. Some people are running away. Some people are coming through. How cute. By the way, you were in the Korean Marines?
I was, yeah.
That's so interesting that you didn't even mention that. Isn't
Right.
that like, I feel like that's such a big thing in Korea to be in the Korean Marines.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I tend to keep it quiet because
And I'm being so
a lot
loud.
of things come with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they have a tighter. It's like, so for those of you who don't know, like Korean Marines is like a smaller branch of the military. There's like Army, which is like the biggest, and then there's like Navy and Air Force.
Yeah.
But Marines is a subdivision of the Navy. That's like that you have to actually test to get into.
Right.
Other ones you kind of like go into, and so there are certain like stereotypes and I almost want to say like baggages that come with being
Being a
associated with the
Marine.
Marines.
Yeah.
I think historically it's been like, oh, Marine, like they have a lot of pride and
prideful, masculine,
which
like all that.
yeah, and they have a certain kind of a bond, like even now, right? If I go in a cab and they have like a 해병대, like Marine stickers on, like
해병대.
they'll like like treat you. They've even given me free rides in the past.
Wow.
Or like even if in outside, right?
Yeah.
If you see someone wearing their like Marines uniform, they're out on a leave. Sometimes the 선임s, like the people who've gone through,
Yeah.
they'll like call them out and give them like 용돈 or buy like snacks. So there's a certain kind of a camaraderie
Yeah.
that comes with it. But
Wow.
there's also some not so good camaraderie. Like they'll just like they'll treat you like you're still their huin, right? Which is like a double-edged sword, but yeah.
They're
That's
treating
a-
you like you're still in it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
So in the Marines, they have this idea of cohorts. They
Yeah.
call it kisu, and every month, like the numbers go up, and that is like they have a saying in the Marines that the difference between one kisu, like 1 month apart, is like sky and ground.
The ground,
It's
okay.
like and so we had all these like weird things. You have to like. When you hear, when I think about it now, it's like kind of stupid. But at the time,
When you're in it.
yeah, you live by different laws. So, for example, we'd be at like a 생활반, we're just chilling, and we're like watching TV, right? Watching TV like this. And no, because they have all these like.
You
hazing
can't
things.
even be
You can't even. I think until the first 3 months, you can't even watch TV. You just have to like sit. You can't even lie down during the day. Anyways, you're watching TV, right?
Wow.
And like if a 연예인, if
Yeah.
a celebrity who has gone through Marines comes out,
Yeah.
you have to like stand up and like salute the TV.
what? How do you even know
it's
they
like-
went to the?
Oh, well, you have to know. You just know, and a lot of things like that. It's very funny. In a way, it's like very funny.
Yeah.
But at the time it was stressful, but looking back, I was like, oh, so many funny things
Yeah.
people did there. A lot of like hazing things that like,
Yeah, I bet.
yeah.
I sometimes see like old Korean men in the subway with their Marines hat on, and I'm always like, Marines. I don't know. I think it's just Marines in general, probably.
Yeah.
Not only Korean Marines. They're very prideful because from what I've heard, their training is very rigorous. Like,
Yeah.
As you said, it's a small group, so you get very close to each other.
Yeah.
But I always see those old men, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So you still have that hat? Look at you, Marines. But is there anything else about your military life that you would like to share?
I don't know how much time we have. I could spend a whole day talking about it, but I think it was good. It was
Yeah.
good. It was a very unique experience. Something I would never be able to experience, even if I could pay for it. Like people
would
don't
just
get
never- yeah.
an opportunity like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was good.
First time I'm hearing somebody say that many positives about the military. You consider yourself Kyopo, right?
Yes.
But
Tongpo
Kyopo
to
is
be
like-
exact, but Kyopo for sure, yeah. Because Kyopo, I think I looked this up.
Yeah.
I went to a workshop last month, and they talked about how Kyopo, like technically speaking, is someone who lives abroad.
Oh.
Tongpo is a more of a inclusive term for people with Korean ethnicity. But I'm good with Kyopo. I think people understand Kyopo better. So.
Well, I'm just learning what Tongpo?
Yeah.
I'm just
No one uses that term though, so I think Kyopo is cool.
Tongpo sounds like Poopo. Why is it dong?
Don't pull. Yeah.
But